Have you ever lived the life of characters of the movies? Have you ever felt the seasons reflected in the movies? Have you ever created an English environment, a native English environment in your own room? Have you ever tasted the movie with your five senses? If you are not doing this, my dear friends, my dear English learners, you can't reap the benefits, you can't get the advantage out of movie. Because we don't know, we are just traditionally following the methods of turning the subtitles on and turning the subtitles off. You can also look for the new words presented in the movies. What we are doing, we are following the traditional methods. You should enjoy the content, you should do this, you should do that. What are these recommendations? These recommendations are based on traditional methodology, orthodox methodology, and we should have to leave them, because we have to involve our five senses as if we are living, as if we are tasting the foods cooked by the native speakers, as if we are running and roaming and wandering and walking in the streets of native speakers, as if we are feeling, as if we are tasting, as if we are just witnessing and playing the snowballs in the winter season. If you are not noticing this, are you calling this active participation? I would call this active participation. You have to create an English environment in your own room. You have to immerse yourself. By immersion, what I mean, by creating an English environment, what I mean, why I am suggesting, why all English trainers just you English movies. What is the function of English movie? You should watch it twice or thrice. You should turn on the subtitles and you should watch that movie without subtitles. No, not at all. My dear English learners, you are following the wrong track. Why wrong track? Because you are not get an active participation. By active participation, I do not mean that you have to listen actively, you have to watch actively, you have to jot down, you have to write down the new words and slangs and expressions and learn them. Now you are making a list, and there are thousands of lists provided in all the books. What is the method of all traditional methodology of teaching of English language, of English book? This is the same technology, this is the same terminology, that you should read an English lesson. You should read an English lesson and try to figure out and try to get the words which you don't know, and then write them down, write the meanings of them, and then learn them. What is the function of all this? If you are watching the movie, I am not saying that by immersion, by creating an English environment, I am not saying labeling the objects around you. You have to change your perspective. You have to live the life of the characters. You have to assume as if you are in the movie. You are dining with them, you are wandering with them, you are walking with them, you are talking with them. You have to assume one of those characters. And your room should be like that. It is an English environment. It's an English environment. Don't take me wrong. Just apply this technique in your watching movies and see tremendous change. You have to involve not only your eyes, not only your ears, but your five senses, as if you are touching the objects present in English movies, as if you are smelling the seasons, the fragrance of spring, the coldness of winter, the yellowness of autumn. If you are doing this, if you can do this, you can actually get the benefit, you can actually get advantage out of the movies. But because what is movie, why it is so recommended? First of all, you have to dig out, you have to figure out why movies are recommended to you, why English movies are recommended to you. Because what is an English movie? what is an English movie? You are not just getting the language of English language. You are just not getting what are the words, what are the expressions, what are the idioms, what are the key slangs. No, not at all. All these things can be found in any book. All these books, all these things can be found on internet. Internet is depleted. Internet is full of all these things. Now, why an English movie is suggested to you? First of all, we have to dig out this answer. Let me be very curious, be very serious, because if recommendation of movies is important, it is equally important how to get the benefit, how we should watch the movies, how should we create an English environment in our room, how to get the benefit, how to be assume a character living with them, how to involve our five senses in the movies. Because what is an English movie? It is an English society at small level. English society at a small level. And what is the excuse or what is the disadvantage of non-native speakers? They say that we are not living an English environment. We are not living an English speaking community. How can we speak? So the best possible way are the movies. When you play the movie, it means that you are playing an English society. You are creating an English society at a small level. Their way of living, their way of talking, each and everything, their rooms, their culture, their traditions, their dresses, their streets, their seasons, their gardens, their canals, each and everything is imbibed in those movies. So you don't need to go to an English environment. You don't need to go to an English speaking community, because English speaking community has come to you in the form of movies. Now it's up to you to involve yourself, to engross yourself in that movie. And it's now up to you how to create your English environment, how to imbibe, how to inhale English in yourself. Because what you can do when you go to go abroad, when you go to an English speaking community, what you see, what you visualize, their culture, their tradition, their houses, their streets, their parks, their each and everything, their way of conversation. You are talking with them. This is the advantage you get when you go to an English speaking community. And you can get this thing in the form of movies. You have to involve yourself actively, full participation. This is called full participation. If you do not get a word, you don't understand the word, the meaning of the word, what you have to do, you have to figure out, you have to understand by the context, by the situation. If you don't get it at first sight, you will get it at the second sight. Because when we understand the meanings of the words, expressions and slangs through situations, the situations stick to and situations glue in our mind, and we don't forget them. Try this technique. Don't turn off the subtitles. If you are watching the movies repeatedly, but you are not engrossing yourself, you are not assuming yourself as one of those characters, you are not sitting with them, you are not dining with them, you are not talking with them, you are not roaming with them, you are just assume yourself that I am a spectator, I am an audience. You don't have to assume that I am an audience. Are you getting the point? You don't have to assume as an audience, as a spectator. You have to play the role of one of those characters. You have to assume as if you are walking in the streets of native speakers, as if you are talking with them. If you can do this, you can really get the benefit of all these things. Then come towards the movies and the shows. I will tell you and describe some literary movies as well, because I want to give you a literary taste of movies. So first movie in this regard is King's Speeches. This is the first movie I recommend you and strongly recommend you. I will give you the reason why I recommend you this. So the King's Speech. This is about King George VI. The problem with King George VI is the tightness of his jaws. That's why he can't speak properly. And he is struggling with English language. He practices a lot. He practices while recording his voice and by doing some physical exercise. And he tries to fulfill the gap of his words when he stucks. When he gets stuck at some point, when he does not want to produce a word, he tries to fulfill that gap with his physical movement. And why I recommend you that, the way he struggles, the way he continues his struggle to learn that language, to utter the sounds in a proper way will encourage you, will motivate you, because you are at the same level. You are struggling with English language. Sometimes you get stuck, sometimes you don't find the words, sometimes you say that my mind goes blank. All these problems are with you. All the problems are with the King George VI. You are also recording the voice. He was also recording the voices. And what you have to do, you can also apply the technique which King George VI applied in his King's Speech, that he tries to fulfill the gap. When he does not produce a word, he tries to fulfill the gap with his body language, with his movements, with his some sounds, ah. Such kind of sounds are physical movements. You can apply this technique and you can find immense motivation in this regard. The second movie which I recommend you is The Lion King. The Lion King. This story is about to forgive ourselves when we can't change. We have to forgive for our past mistakes, and we have to look for the future. This is very good story. And now The Beauty and the Beast. This is another story in which why a prince is cursed to become a beast, and there is a beautiful lady, there is a beautiful girl whose father is kidnapped by that beast, and when she comes to the castle to free or to make his father free from the shackles of the beast, the beast forces her to live with him so that she can fall in love with him, because only the true love can remove the curse from the beast and he can turn into the prince again. Number 4 is Harry Potter. This is the fantasy. This is the fantastic book, and it has 8 volumes, and the scenes are mesmerizing. You go, and this is about the battle between the bad and the good wizards. You enjoy the fantasy world, and you can get enormous vocabulary there, like fatal. The 5th one is Old Man and the Sea. And why I recommend this? This is actually a novel written by Hemingway, and if you can watch the movie of Old Man and the Sea, you can see how an old man, despite of not having the fish for 84 days, he does not lose his interest, he does not lose his courage, and he is an icon of determination, of struggle, and how he struggles. And this is the best movie for motivation. Whenever you lose your motivation, you can just learn and you can just watch this movie, and you can have immense motivation in your life. And apart from that, you can enhance your learning English skills by watching this movie. And now number 6 is Jane Austen. Jane Austen's novel Pride and Prejudice. If you want to inhale English language, if you want to really learn English and want to reflect and see the English culture, how they live in their homes, you should have to watch Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, in which you will see that Elizabeth, a strong-willed lady, and Darcy, how they shun their prejudices and become one. This is strongly recommended novel, and you will see the difference, because apart from watching the movies, you should be concerned what kind and what criteria of movies you should watch to enhance your learning and you enhance your English skills. Apart from that, your literary taste should also be satisfied. Now you can also watch Multicultural London, Top Story, and Four Weddings and the Funeral, Top Boy, and there are so many movies you can choose according to your own choice, but you have to implement the same technique, because you can watch any movie available on network or available on YouTube, available on the social media, but you have to apply the technique which I have recommended to you and see tremendous and revolutionary changes in your life. Because if you are a part and parcel of the movie, if you are inhaling and exhaling the movie, if you are just assuming one of those characters, you are getting the right benefits. Because if you don't understand anything, any word, any expression, any slang at one time, you can do it at second time by understanding the context. Because in this way you are understanding the context, you are visualizing the words, vocabulary as slangs as if they are occurring in the right context. Because what is the problem with the non-native speakers is that they are is not the words, is the way they are using the words. Because 80% non-native speakers, they use the words at the wrong place, they use the expression at the wrong place. So apart from learning and memorizing the words, we have to keep in mind whether we are using these words, expressions, slangs and vocabulary at the right place or not. So all these things, when come into contact, well, when they are amalgamated and when they are jotted down at one place, you become a fluent English speaker with all the dimensions covered in your life. So in this way, you are creating an English environment in your own room. You are not labeling the objects, but you become the part of that movie also. And you are enjoying the movie. This is the best way to enjoy the movie. Not with the popcorns in your hand and you are just spectator, you are just an audience. No, not at all, dear audience. You don't have to assume as a spectator eating the popcorns, watching the movie. In this way, you have a separate entity. You don't have to maintain your separate entity while watching the movie. If you like these ideas, let me know in the comment section. If you find any other beneficial or any other fruitful idea, let me know in the comment section to watch the movie and to get benefit out of it. Till the next video, stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.